Tell me how, I got nothing to say. Tell me why my tombstone is blank. 'Cause I'm not the one who won't try. I'm not letting life pass me by. And tell me when the days are less gray. And tell me where is the road to less pain. How many days before I decay? It's getting so hard to get by. Where are all my trophies in life? And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. Set to sail to a place I can't say. Live a life worthy of chase. The time is today. New blood in my veins. I won't be the joker in life, playing the part I don't like. And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. Yeah. And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. 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 Young and hungry for life.
Oh my goodness! You know, I'm pretty disappointed we didn't see the Demigorgon tonight. have been the most entertaining thing on the entire show tonight. You know, this show took me away. This show took me away from getting my Bobcat blueprint in Arc Raiders. You know that, right? The one blueprint I don't have. And I had to sit down and watch this awful program. How is it that we're sitting here and SmackDown absolutely cleared Monday Night Raw? Are we living? We are living in Stranger Things. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the venue inside my mother's basement. It's the first Raw of the new year, and nothing has changed whatsoever outside the year. From 25 to 26. Ladies and gentlemen, when I walk through those doors on this Monday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for January 5th, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement for the first time on a Monday night this year. Thank you so very much for joining me on this Monday evening, wherever you guys may be. You want to know how bad Raw is? Everyone's talking about Kit Wilson in the chat. Legitimately live. Whenever you may be listening to this, it is 11:08 p.m. Eastern Time on a Monday night, and the chat's talking about Kit Wilson. You know, I didn't really want to start the new year off with negativity. I've lasted 5 days. I've been off social media. I haven't said anything disparaging about Tony Khan. I've been good. I've been minding my own business, man. I've been driving in the right lane, doing the speed limit. WWE had one job. WWE, Triple H had one job on Monday night. That was to follow the excitement that we all felt coming out of Friday Night SmackDown. Everybody seemingly thought that SmackDown was a thumbs-up show. We got Zack Ryder, now Matt Cardona in WWE, going by his real alias in WWE now. We got Jordan Grace. We got Carmelo Hayes lighting it up on Friday nights. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes had a banger segment before their 3 Stages of Hell match on Friday. Monday night had one job, and that was to set the tone on Monday nights going into the Royal Rumble to kickstart the new year. What they did was once again visit Sesame Street, knock on Elmo's door. Hey, Elmo, how you doing, bro? How you doing, man? Listen, what do you got for Monday night tonight? You're not home? Cookie Monster. How you doing, man? What type of cookies you want today? You want chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal raisin cookie, peanut butter cookie? Cherry chocolate? What do you want? Pistachio? What is snickerdoodle? What do you want? You fucking slob. What do you want? Not home. Big Bird! Big Bird, how you doing, brother? Listen, what do you got for the Raw script? What? Nothing. All right. Bird Ernie. Bird Ernie. How you doing, bro? Well, what's the Raw script look like tonight? Oh, you don't know? Visit the Counts. Oh, okay. Counts, how you doing, brother? What's the Raw script looking like? Ha, ha, ha. This show will suck tonight, like my 1, 2, 3s. Ha, ha, ha. They had one job to do. They didn't do it. They didn't come close to the objective. It's like playing Call of Duty and you trying to cap the B flag against a team of fucking sweats on Optic. And before you know it, you look at the fucking scoreboard, it's 180-15. They didn't play the objective. Somehow, last year's embarrassing debut on Netflix, which was fucking awful, nothing more than fucking pandering to their Hollywood elite fucking pedophile friends. That's all they did. How you look at last year's show, and tonight they made last year's show look fucking great in comparison. I don't understand why this company doesn't understand the objective. You got a roster the way you got your roster, and this is the show that you give us. This is the end product. This is the end result of all these weeks of television. Coming out of what was a terrible Survivor Series. Going into a John Cena retirement match where everybody was shitting on the fucking outcome. With glimmers of excitement because of the youth that the WWE possesses. And then we go into the holiday lull. Tape shows, lack of excitement, Sesame Street build, and it all leads to January 5th. And what do they do, ladies and gentlemen? What do they do? Commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial after fucking commercial. The Women's Tag Team Championship match opened the show, and by 8:18 p.m., there was already 6 minutes of commercial, and the bell didn't ring till 8:09. This has nothing to do with Chris Jericho, by the way. I didn't tweet a single fucking thing about Chris Jericho all day or all weekend. It has nothing to do with Chris Jericho. If Chris Jericho was on this show and showed up at the end of the show would still be fucking terrible. A 5-minute appearance doesn't fucking eliminate and disregard 2.5 hours of awful fucking television. You sell out Barclays Center and fill that building up with 14,000 fucking people. I never heard a New York City crowd. In Brooklyn, I never heard a New York City crowd as dead as they were tonight. You would think you spend that type of money to sit in that fucking building on a cold, windy January night, you want to have some fucking fun. There was no fun to be had in that building. I guarantee you, if you were sitting in that building, you were dead fucking asleep. How could you expect the New York City crowd, which is one of the more raucous crowds in the United States, how could you expect the New York City crowd to elicit any type of excitement with the show that you presented to them this evening? This show had 3 women's matches. 3. And then a men's match. 3 women's matches and a men's match at the end of the show, which was Bron Breakker and CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. Before that, we got Rhea Ripley and SKY challenging the Kabuki Warriors for the now all of a sudden very important women's tag team championships. Like there's no fucking agenda there, right? Where did this love and this passion all of a sudden come from with the women's tag team championship scene? Genuinely curious why the whole division and the championships themselves were fucking dead for 7 years. Now all of a sudden you want me to fucking sit here and say, oh man, the women's tag team championships, they're really fucking important. Rhea and Io versus the Kabuki Warriors, riddled with commercial. How could I get into it when I gotta watch fucking 8 minutes of commercial and only 5 minutes of pro wrestling? Rhea Ripley and SKY win the tag team championships. On to the next segment, man. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. First flight out to Germany next week. I'll see you guys later. As uneventful and anticlimactic of a title change that you could possibly ever creatively produce. Where do they go now, chat? Where do they go now? That Rhea Ripley and SKY are now the tag team champions going into Rumble season and WrestleMania season. Where exactly do we go? And why should I care? Do you mind setting something up for me to fucking get excited about next week? Or are they banking on me giving a shit about Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who seemingly are next in line, being that they beat the ex-champions only 2 weeks ago? Nothing that you do will make us care about the women's tag team titles. Nothing. You're actively taking away from the more important championships in your division to fucking play make-believe with the women's tag team championships. They'll never be important. PSA, they'll never be important. You can stop trying now. The jig is up. Where do they go? Nobody has a good answer. Nobody has a good answer. Where do they go? I don't fucking know. Charlotte and Alexa, Bayley and Lyra, Liv and Roxanne. Is that next? Is that what they're setting up for? All that story with Rhea and Io against Asuka and Kairi Sane. Poof. Like a puff of smoke going up in the air. That's good. Goodbye. Thanks for coming, man. And then they don't want to set anything up to get me excited about what they're doing next week and beyond. Okay. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. SmackDown gave us Jordynne Grace, Trick Williams, who everybody seemingly is still talking about all these days later after a segment with Sami Zayn. Great segment on Friday night. Guy looked like a fucking megastar out there. Very much looking forward to seeing him on Friday nights. Jordynne Grace, Trick Williams, Matt Cardona, who's not an NXT talent, but did work NXT and TNA and literally everywhere. All 2025. He's back. Not Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona. And more NXT talent supposedly is getting called up. Latest that I heard was Blake Monroe could be getting a call up. Sol Ruka could be getting a call up. JC Jane and Fatal Attraction, Influence, Toxic Attraction, whatever the fuck their name is, possibly getting a call up. Chat, did any of the talents that I mentioned that appeared on Friday night, were any of them restricted from television? Were any of them, I don't know, hidden away in the back? Did any of them sign a contract during a commercial break? Supposedly, Javon Evans is landing on Monday Night Raw. Great talent. Super exciting to watch. He's only 21 years old. If that, he's going to inject some life into what is otherwise a dead show. Do you know that they had Javon Evans show up in a commercial break in the first hour of the show and sign his new WWE Monday Night Raw contract? A contract, by the way, that was in a binder with the old Raw logo on it, not even the updated Raw logo. They had this poor kid sign his contract during a commercial break. Now, for all the people that are out there saying, well, JD, why don't you get a VPN, JD? I have a VPN. I have a VPN. I'm not opting to watch Monday Night Raw on my fucking 12-inch iPad. I'd much rather watch it on my 70-inch television in the comfort of my own living room. I can't get VPN on Netflix via my television. Otherwise, I would. So I'm stuck with commercials here in the States. I'm not so fortunate. You guys are in the minority. I am in the majority. More people watch the show the way I watch the show. That's no excuse. This guy should have been integrated into the show to sign his contract and get his face on fucking television. No, but last week, putting him in the ring with fucking Mayo Americano sounds like number 6 on the fucking deli menu. No, but that's enough for him last week on Monday Night Raw. Fantastic. Fantastic. I don't have a Fire Stick. Got to go out and spend fucking money on a Fire Stick so I could get a VPN. We are the majority. The majority of the people watch the show the way that I consume the show. You guys are the minority. That doesn't excuse the fact that this guy should have been on the fucking show, signing his contract in the ring with Adam Pearce in front of a live audience watching at home. Attention to detail. They don't give a shit. Becky Lynch and Maxxine Dupri. Another title change. We had 2 title changes before we got to the main event, which was the 3rd championship match of the evening. So when Becky Lynch won back her Intercontinental Championship for a second time, I was pretty confident that we weren't getting a new world champion. Because there was no way in fucking hell that WWE would do 3 title changes on the same show. You're dangerously close to giving Paul Levesque's pacemaker some fucking Stranger Things. Can't do that. Maxxine Dupri got married over the weekend. Fantastic. Happy for her and the lucky man that she married, who is apparently one of the LFG guys. Do I know his name? Of course I don't. Who the fuck cares? I told you weeks ago when Maxxine won the championship, Maxxine is not long for this world as Intercontinental Champion. I didn't really think that the match was going to be such a fucking snooze fest and an uneventful fucking pro wrestling exhibition. But Becky Lynch won the Intercontinental Championship for a second time. Great. Maxxine standing there shocked, like she couldn't believe that she lost. Honey, you are so incredibly lucky that they even bestowed upon you the leather with the gold plating that encapsulates that championship. Gee, I wonder what the best decision is there. Maxxine Dupri going into WrestleMania or Becky Lynch going into WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion? Gee, let me think about that one. Yeah, it's Becky Lynch. And we got Liv Morgan versus Lyra Valkyria. It's great that Liv Morgan's back. We all love Liv Morgan. But I mean, if you want people to give a shit about Liv Morgan, or anybody for that matter, maybe you should put them in a fucking story and give her something to do that has meaning. Brooklyn doesn't give a shit about these in-between feuds. Lyra, Bayley, Liv. Bro, we're not coming for the fucking match. We want to see what happens with the Judgment Day. Literally, nothing was forwarded in regards to the Judgment Day. Everything is just fucking peaches and cream out here. There's no tension. All of a sudden, there's no tension. Liv, Roxanne, Finn, Raquel's off doing her own thing and fucking taking out Stephanie Vaquer, who apparently has a injured ankle and they wrote her off TV tonight. For how long, I don't fucking know. Not like anybody's gonna miss her because the creative department has fucking botched Stephanie Vaquer. Three women's matches. If you thought you were watching Evolution 2026, I wouldn't be shocked if people actually thought that. No, but WWE really put a lot of thought into this show, and people wanted this show to be so great that WWE, they overhyped the shit out of it. So all they do is overhype, oversell, overpromote. We didn't come for Women's Evolution Part 2. We came for a great fucking show on Monday night. Yet we got this Stranger Things collaboration. I haven't watched one episode of fucking Stranger Things. After the critics have critically shit on the last season, I don't even want to watch it. I don't understand why, when they're in collaboration with things like this, that everything that they do takes a backseat. I don't get it. Every time there is a collaboration, you now know that WWE is going to put their worst foot forward. They don't give a fuck. Netflix asked them to do this because Stranger Things is hot and it's the topical discussion now, and they asked WWE to do this. Who knows if WWE wanted to do this or not, and they did it because they're in a partnership with Netflix, and they put as little effort into this shit as possible while trying to give you a World Heavyweight Championship main event that ended up falling flat on its face. How you make this year's one-year anniversary show on Netflix worse than last year's show, which was fucking awful, speaks volumes about how WWE is never going to change, never going to change a fucking thing about how they operate in 2026. SmackDown needed to hit a home run. They knew it. It was unavoidable. Moving that show to 3 hours, if they didn't show any change was coming on Friday night, they would have been absolutely fucking flamed on social media, crucified on social media. But they don't give a shit about social media, but they always look at social media and are quick to judge everybody on social media and blab about their social media impressions. They're nothing more than a bunch of bullshit artists. WWE employs con artists. When we got to the World Heavyweight Championship match, I finally felt like Raw actually began. The match itself was all right. It wasn't a barn burner by any stretch of the imagination, which makes me really think, is WWE going to run this match back again? I think I've seen enough. I'm not going to be as excited about a second match as compared to what we got tonight. The last 5 minutes of this show was really good. The last 5 minutes of this show were really, really good. Bron Breakker jumping off the top rope and delivering that clothesline to CM Punk through the announce table as he cleared that much distance from the steel post to the announce table was physically impressive. You'd think Logan Paul was out there. He cleared CM Punk on the announce table, and everybody thought he had the match won. Until CM Punk, dazed and confused, spinning around in circles, saw at the very last second Bron Breakker coming with a spear at 23 miles an hour, decided to get a jumping knee right in the nick of time and deliver a go to sleep to win the match. It was before that where Paul Heyman got taken out by CM Punk himself, and he had called the Vision to come down as insurance. Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul. And then out there to save CM Punk, per storyline, because that's what we've been seeing, the camaraderie between Rey Mysterio and CM Punk. Now he's got confidants. And not only Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio's friends in Penta and Dragon Lee. Remember the LWO? Yeah, neither do I. What happened to those guys? I guess that went right out the fucking window. Bron Breakker loses after a myriad of interference, after weeks of cutting savage promos on CM Punk, loses to a go-to-sleep. Am I upset that he lost? No, I'm not. I will not lose any sleep over this defeat of Bron Breakker tonight. I didn't really expect CM Punk, and if you go back and watch the last couple of things that I've recorded, I even said on Tuesday night, I don't really think CM Punk is losing the championship. And if I had one to choose from to become a new champion, Bron Breakker or Drew McIntyre, I'm absolutely taking Drew McIntyre. So Bron Breakker losing tonight, I don't think it raises Drew McIntyre's stock all that much, but it raises his possibility just a little bit in winning the WWE Championship on Friday night. Maybe. I would absolutely take Drew McIntyre, as I do think he deserves it more than anybody. And a 3 or 4 week reign for Drew McIntyre at this stage of the game is not going to hurt Cody Rhodes in any sense at all. I don't even think WWE is going to end up doing that. I think they're going to go Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes is going to lose one of the falls. I think he'll lose either the first or second fall, for sure. It's not going to be a clean sweep. I think Drew McIntyre wins I would say Drew McIntyre wins the first fall. I think Cody goes on to win the second and the third. But this is WWE. This is Triple H we're talking about. You think they're going to change the WWE Championship 3 weeks before the fucking Royal Rumble? No way at all. They don't know how to be reckless. They don't know how to be adventurous. All they know is Sesame Street. Bron Breakker is eventually going to become a world champion. I'm not worried about that at all. I thought he showed a lot of guts out there. I thought he wrestled a fairly good match with CM Punk, minus that absolutely terrible botch on the top rope with the Frankensteiner. I thought the rest of the match was fine. It's not going to be in my top 10 matches at the end of the fucking year. But I thought what they did for a television main event on a Monday night for the World Heavyweight Championship to start the year was fine. I'm sure on cue, Bron's Buried is going to be trending and going to be talked about from all the fucking unintelligent idiots out there. Bron's not buried. All Bron needs to do is go into the Royal Rumble and eliminate 9, 10 guys, and he'll be fine. He's not going anywhere. He may end up winning the Royal Rumble for all we fucking know. He may be this year's Royal Rumble winner. The show went off the air with absolutely no excitement whatsoever. No unpredictability, no return, no surprise, no credits rolling, lights going out, and Jericho showing up. Literally nothing. The one thing that I did not want them to do, they booked the show that way. CM Punk goes off the air. We'll see you next week. We'll see you in Germany. Not even Jericho. No LA Knight. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's no better way to cap off a terrible show with a boring ending and an uneventful fucking ending to a main event. But that's what WWE's known for. That's what they do. You should not be surprised. It is the one thing that they seemingly will defend to the death. Oh, we're writing Marvel movies or DC movies or whatever the fucking line was from AAA. We make movies. No, tonight was shit. It wasn't Stranger Things. It was a ton of awful things. And the one thing that gets me is people like, oh, JD, it wasn't as bad as you're making it out to be. No, it's fucking terrible. Cut the shit. I am absolutely fucking tired of the, oh, it was all right. It's not as bad as you say it is. I like this. Bro, the show was terrible. If you thought that this was a good show, that means your standards and practices need to be raised. 100%. I am tired of all this fucking gaslighting and the glazing for these fucking suits and ties for these billionaires that don't give a shit about any one of you. And that goes between both companies. You got one fan base who's glazing the fucking head guy because they want a fucking job. And they think if they speak nicely and bow down to Tony Khan, that seemingly another content creator is going to get another fucking job position over there. It don't work that way. They've filled their quota of fucking unintelligent, uninspired, uncharismatic, untalented fucking hacks that are going to get a job over there. And then the other company, the one we're talking about tonight, they seemingly think that this shit don't stink, that everything they do is great, and everything that they do is fucking gonna make headlines and mainstream news everywhere. We are great. No, your show sucks. It is a complete deviation away from where we were only 2 years ago. You've seemingly gotten worse and worse and worse and worse with every passing month, and you don't even fucking realize it. And people continue to pay the ridiculous amounts of money to sit in that building on a cold January night to fucking continue lining the pockets of these greedy, money-hungry, I don't give a fuck about the fans, billionaires. You have nobody to blame but yourself. Every single one of you who went into that building tonight to watch this show, because you know exactly how bad the product was. There's no fucking denying it. There's no hiding it. You willingly went to this show tonight after their worst creative year in years in 2025, thinking you were going to get a different fucking show, a more refreshed WWE, a WWE with their head on straight, full steam ahead to the Royal Rumble. We're going to get a much different Paul Levesque this year. Every single one of you that accumulated 14,000 plus, you are a small reason why this company will never change its ways. Next time WWE goes to the Barclays Center, I want to see fucking 7,000 people there. I want to see half the fucking people there. It won't be that way because you can't help yourselves. You can't. All those people are aiding WWE and their behavior. All the people who tell me, JD, it wasn't as bad as you're making it out to be. You are aiding in this show being fucking terrible. We're not here for mid. We're not here for, it was all right. We're not here for that. This is a new year, and this should be a new, fresh direction for the company. What did this show deliver to you that was any different than the fucking tape shows that we got over the holiday weekend? Outside of the Stranger Things collaboration, which apparently they needed to do tonight. We got fucking retro 1980s vans and fucking visuals, and every segment had a chapter to it. Bro, if you put more effort into the actual fucking show than you did into this Stranger Things collaboration, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about this shit in a negative way for the first fucking 30 minutes. I know a lot of people were expecting Chris Jericho tonight. This had nothing to do with Chris Jericho not showing up. There was a news article, there was a report that went out right before WWE Raw tonight. Fightful put something out. To be clear, Fightful has not reported nor confirmed that Chris Jericho will be on Raw tonight, or even that he'll be back in WWE at this point. Apparently, there was some arguing back and forth between Andrew Baydala and Jonathan Coachman on Twitter about Jericho. It all started with Andrew putting something out with The Rock, saying that The Rock has some sort of deal on the table for Saudi Arabia. Big money offer. Drew never put out that The Rock has a concrete offer. It's nothing more than fan speculation. It's going to be a big talking point for the next 18 months. Everybody and their mother is going to be talking about it. Is it going to happen? Are we going to get Rock Roman? Then all of a sudden, Jericho and the topic of Jericho was being discussed on social media. Jericho's going to be there. If he's not there, he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Then the discussion kind of went off track, and people were discussing, well, if Jericho shows up in the Royal Rumble, it's not going to be much of a surprise. How is WWE going to fly everybody over to the Royal Rumble and keep them hidden from everybody? How are you going to get Jericho over to Saudi and not have him be seen by anybody? It's going to be leaked all over the place. This had nothing to do with Jericho not showing up. The show would have been fucking awful if Jericho showed up at the end of the show. Fightful went on to say they can't exactly control what other outlets report, but upon a wave of Chris Jericho contract has officially retired, posts from engagement accounts or expired. They put retired. Chris Jericho's contract has officially retired. Expired posts from engagement accounts. We wouldn't go that quickly on that story. After All Out 22, Jericho re-signed with AEW with the company and was announced as being through 2026. Jericho disappeared from TV in the spring of 2025. Fightful heard nothing about if his deal was extended or frozen during that time. However, Jericho is still on the company's roster page. In addition, on Monday, a number of people in AEW got memos about Mercedes Martinez, Matt Taven, and Alex Abrahantes and their deals expiring. No such memo went out about Chris Jericho. AEW is usually very particular about their roster page, as indicated by removing the 3 names who had their deals expired today. We asked AEW reps in an official capacity if Jericho was still with the company, and they did not respond. We were told that AEW has a great relationship with Chris Jericho, but we're also very aware that their audience has grown tired of him, which led to his absence from All Elite Wrestling. When we spoke to WWE sources, they said that Chris Jericho has not been brought up creatively as of yet, and that he was not factored into the plans for tonight's Raw that they had seen. There was the obligatory, it wouldn't be the first time we got worked, too. So far, Chris Jericho has not been seen at the venue for tonight's Monday Night Raw. This went out before Raw. The summary here, nobody in AEW has been given any indication that Jericho has officially left the company, and sources in WWE have not been told as of yet that Jericho is there, coming in, or will be factored in. First of all, AEW is usually very wishy-washy when it comes to who's on their roster page and who is not. That is not something that they actively police. And immediately, someone's contract's up, let's take them off the roster page on the website. Sometimes it'll sit. Sometimes it'll sit there for a day or two, and then they'll get removed. Just to not cause confusion. Now, Tony Khan wants to be petty, and he doesn't like somebody, or he lets someone go, or he lets someone walk. It depends on who it is. He may take them off instantaneously, just to rid himself of that particular talent. That's the way he operates. Chris Jericho, as far as I know, is not staying with AEW. He's not coming back to AEW. He has not re-signed with AEW, and he will not re-sign with AEW. Boy, would that make the sickos look fucking stupid. How many of you sickos have already went out there and fucking crusaded your way on social media, claiming that we don't want Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's washed. He doesn't need AEW, and we don't need him. Blah, 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 blah. Can you imagine if Chris Jericho walked back into AEW, how everybody would... Man, there'd be a lot of tweeting and deleting. I'll tell you that right now, man. There'd be a frantic chase from everybody to go and delete all their anti-Chris Jericho tweets. It would be a comedy show for free on social media. Jericho's not going back to AEW. Tony Khan knows Jericho isn't needed. Jericho knows he isn't needed. He's going to WWE. I don't know how they're going to finagle him into the Royal Rumble. It's going to be very difficult to fly someone the likes of Chris Jericho on an 18-hour flight to Saudi Arabia without him being seen. Unless he gets there 3 weeks early and resides in Saudi Arabia for the next 3 fucking weeks, even then people are going to notice who he is. Either that or they're going to hide him in an underground bunker somewhere until the day of the Royal Rumble and that buzzer goes off and we hear break the walls down. I was hoping that Jericho showed up on Raw simply because we needed something to fucking talk about. Instead, we're talking about how awful this fucking show was tonight. Something I didn't really want to do. I wanted to talk about what I liked on this show. We will. But this show was 90% negative and only 10% positive. I wanted Jericho to show up on the show simply because we needed something to talk about. Simply because they needed to start 2026 off with a bang. And I thought that would have been a great way to do it. If I'm Chris Jericho, first of all, not even that. Chris Jericho's name was in the news when CM Punk had that falling out with Jack Perry. Even before that. There was some shade by Chris Jericho on CM Punk, and CM Punk, I think he was still out nursing the injury. He came back, and they gave him Collision, and Collision was his show. Punk had said nothing. He remained very, very quiet following the brawl-out situation. He said nothing. The only thing that he did which was very suspect, was show up backstage at a Monday Night Raw while he was an AEW contracted talent to speak with The Miz, Kofi Kingston, Triple H, and whomever else he met backstage when WWE had visited Chicago that year. He was still in rehabilitation. Jericho had said something that threw shade at CM Punk. I don't know if it's credible or not, but people were insinuating that Jericho was one of the people outside the Bucks feeding the dirt sheets, all of the tales and all the stories that were coming out in the locker room about AEW, and Jericho was at the forefront of telling Meltzer and telling Alvarez and telling the sheets his side of the story, but not covering the entire part of the story. Again, I don't know if that was legit or not. I know that was a talking point. Jericho has many, many avenues. He's got many different people willing to go to bat for him, many different people that will aid and abide by what Chris Jericho wants, especially those in AEW. Now, if Tony Khan is a man of his word, and when it comes to someone like Chris Jericho, I don't know why he would lie. Jericho may be one of the most, if not the most important figure in the history of that fucking company. It's going to be either Moxley or Jericho. And without Jericho, there is no AEW, so I'm probably leaning on Chris Jericho in that discussion. Without Chris Jericho, without him leading the charge as the first ever AEW World Champion, there may not be an AEW as we see it today. Jericho still holds a lot of respect in that company, especially from Tony Khan. I would not be surprised to find out that Chris Jericho went directly to Tony Khan and the upper brass in AEW, told them that he's leaving, and there's nothing but love. Thank you for everything you've done for me, but I need you to do something for me now. Which, this is a bargaining chip that is much more lucrative to AEW than it is to Chris Jericho. So them doing this for Chris Jericho is pennies for what Jericho has done back to AEW. I would not be surprised if Chris Jericho went to Tony Khan or the upper brass in AEW and told them, keep me on the roster page. I'm not coming back. But I want you to do me this solid. Keep me on the roster page. And let me dictate where I'm going to go, when I'm going to go, and when I'm going to show up. That's the least you could do for me. Jericho is always a man shrouded in mystery. Always loves to play the marks. Always loves to be a showman. Always loves to be the guy in control, thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead of everybody else. So there'll be false reports. There'll be misinterpretations and misinformation out there. Him lingering still on the AEW roster page does not surprise me. It's Chris Jericho. I think we all understand where he's going to end up. It's not that big of a secret. You got people aggregating and engagement farming. Chris Jericho signed a new deal with AEW. Chris Jericho's not leaving AEW after all. No, Chris Jericho is very much gone. He's very much gone. But for anybody to not think outside the box and think, well, maybe this is all being done by design. Maybe it's Tony scratching Chris Jericho's back for all the work that Chris Jericho did for Tony Khan in 6 fucking years. Why would Tony Khan disregard and disrespect and throw away a friendship with Chris Jericho so willingly, so easily, all because he's going to work for Paul Levesque? Could he have shown up tonight? Yes. Showing up tonight would have been too easy for Chris Jericho. I would have loved to see him. Just because of the fucking show we got. And just because it would have started the year off the right way. But maybe Jericho's got something else in mind. Maybe he thinks, I think the Rumble's better. I'm not believing any of these reports. Oh, he's on the roster page. That means he's not going anywhere. No. Now, Chris Jericho is very much a master troll. He's on the AW roster page because, and this is just me, I'm not going to be coachman and put fucking news out there just because I have sources. This is my opinion. I very much believe Jericho requested to remain on the AW roster page just to throw everybody off. I don't find that to be that far-fetched whatsoever. That's the latest on Chris Jericho. That is the only time I will be mentioning Chris Jericho here. Nothing else regarding Chris Jericho will be uttered on this show. I know it was a big deal coming into this. I know everybody was excited to see him. Not everybody, some of you. I thought he would have fit perfectly in the main event. We had discussed maybe he joins Division. Maybe he comes out at the end of the show after Punk beats Bron Breakker. Maybe we get Punk versus Jericho at the Royal Rumble. None of that happened. None of that happened. We could still very much get him on next week's show. I'm assuming Punk's going to be defending the title at the Royal Rumble. Who will he be defending the championship against? That's what I want to know. All in all, it was not Stranger Things. It was awful things. This show was not good tonight. And if you thought it was good, God bless you. You're part of the reason why WWE actively continues to do the things that they do, and they do not change. The show was not a good start for the new year. We're going to get into everything that happened tonight. I appreciate you guys being here on this Monday evening. Tonight we're sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew Gold! I'm going to stop you guys right there. Because after sitting through this episode of Monday Night Raw, we need to talk about some Blue Chew Gold. Stranger Things crossover, a dead New York City crowd, commercials every 5 minutes. That show had no energy, no rhythm, and no finish. That's exactly why Blue Chew Gold exists. Because Blue Chew Gold is their most powerful formula yet. It's got the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, plus a boosted blend designed for stronger performance and longer-lasting results. You take it once a day, it's chewable, no awkward doctor visits, no waiting in line at a pharmacy, and it ships discreetly to your door, unlike WWE Raw, which should have stayed discreet tonight. Let's be honest, Bron Breakker and CM Punk deserve better. The crowd deserved better. And if your performance ever feels like it's stuck in a commercial break, Blue Chew Gold makes sure that doesn't happen. So here's what you do. You go to BlueChew.com, use promo code JD, and you'll get 10% off your order. BlueChew.com, promo code JD, because your night should end stronger than this show did. And unlike WWE Raw, you don't need 5 breaks to get the job done. BlueChew.com, code JD. I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the show tonight, right here on OTS. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Shout out to all the cameos that I've gotten in the last 2 weeks. We've gotten a great request as of last night from my guy, Gary. Gary, what's up, brother? You continue being the inspiration that we all know you are, Gary. Fuck the trolls and ignore the fucking noise. Just do you. It's not worth it. They're not worth it. And they are insignificant. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out all the great content on the channel. We're live tomorrow night. First TNT of 2026 with myself and the Sala Monster. Episode 128. Did you guys know that last week's TNT had a 58-minute watch time? The biggest in the show's history. It's all thanks to you guys. And for all the people, because I see you and I hear you. Well, the only reason why I watch TNT is because of Solomon, so JD's just there. TNT's the only reason I'll watch a JD show. You're watching. That's all that matters. And if you don't like me there, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's more of a you problem. So we'll be live tomorrow night with the Solid Monster, episode 128. Hit that thumbs up. We already have 750 likes. I want everybody in this chat that has not hit that thumbs up to hit that thumbs up. 1,000 likes is the goal. Super chats are open. Get them on and we'll hang out at the end of this show. And again, tonight we're sponsored by Blue Chew. I want to thank the great team over at Blue Chew for another great year right here on Off the Script. I got to shout my guy out because he got the party started tonight. We got a bomb coming in early from my guy, best in the world, Matt. A $100 super chat. Thank you, Matt. Happy New Year, OTS family. This one goes out to the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, on a stellar career and retirement match at Wrestle Kingdom. I didn't watch it, by the way. Thank you for everything, Tanahashi, and I hope to see some OTS family at the start of the G1 Climax in July in Chicago. OTS for life. Matt, thank you, brother. Thank you very much, bro. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show as always. I got my cold beverage on reserve just for you guys. We start Monday Night Raw off with the New York City skyline. You know, the one that you see in the intro while the Dark Horse is driving on the highway? They panned over to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, as Michael Cole introduced the show. They then went to the arena where they tipped the Raw logo upside down. And then Michael Cole and Corey Graves stepped out of a 1980s van as part of the Stranger Things crossover theme that also included a Surfer Boy pizza truck. Graves said that WWE was joining forces with the hottest show in the world for one night only. Then they showed the Vision backstage, CM Punk, the Judgment Day, Lyra and Bayley, Maxxine Dupri, and Becky Lynch. They had this 1980s red Stranger Things filter over all of the talents walking into the building. Michael Cole called Becky Lynch jealous and bitter and full of conspiracy theories when she was walking into the building. Sounds like Donald Trump. You know, a lot of people think that Becky Lynch is running a small gag / character on Donald Trump. Do you guys think that Becky is acting very Donald Trump-esque? I could see it. I don't know if that's the influence of the character, but whatever she's doing, I like it. I think this is the best work of her career. I thought the visuals were well done. I thought the Stranger Things music to kickstart Monday Night Raw was whatever. Not really the best way to start the show in 2026. It just felt like a throwaway show just based on that. There was no real importance to it. It was nothing more than a glorified fucking, collaboration with Stranger Things. WWE's got to rub elbows with their Netflix part. It didn't feel important. It just felt like WWE was doing what they usually do, hanging on to relevancy by everything else that's hot and important now in the social landscape. We start things off with the women's tag team title match. The Kabuki Warriors, Rhea Ripley and SKY, WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. This match went 17 minutes. We got 6 minutes of commercial. So around 10 and a half minutes of actual television pro wrestling. Show started, the bell rang at 8:09 p.m. And literally 30 seconds into the match, we go into a commercial break. Ripley took control, hitting a cannonball off the apron ahead of a break. When we came back, Kairi pulled Asuka to safety on another attempt at a cannonball. And then they drove Rhea Ripley into the barricade to take over. Ripley fought back, tagged in Io, who was on offense, and she dished out a sling blade. Corey Graves, at this point in the match, mentioned Hiroshi Tanahashi and his retirement, which was actually a nice gesture, being that news was making waves today on social media within the community that Konosuke Takeshita was wearing in remembrance, because he couldn't be there, or in honor, I should say. He was wearing in honor of him not being there, Shinsuke Nakamura's armband around his arm as he defended the New Japan IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Supposedly, Shinsuke Nakamura was not allowed to be inside the Tokyo Dome to watch Hiroshi Tanahashi retire. And he said that he did everything he could to try and be there. And WWE did not allow him to be there. So before anybody goes off on WWE for not allowing one of their active in-ring talents, one of their active contracted employees, didn't allow him to go to Japan to watch Hiroshi Tanahashi retire on this past weekend's Wrestle Kingdom show, it was the same man that you all praise in Tony Khan who did not allow Sting to go and induct Lex Luger into the Hall of Fame. So if you're going to play that game, maybe you should play it a little bit more evenly. The heels are in control here. They take control of Io. Sane hit a flying foot stomp to Io's back. And we go into another commercial break. Legitimately 8 minutes into the match. We got 6 minutes of commercial. You want me to give a shit about the Women's Tag Team Championship match that you have built up for tonight, and you opt to take 6 minutes of commercials within the first 8 minutes of the match? If you don't think I'm not going to complain about that, you got the wrong fucking guy. There is absolutely no reason why you need to take 6 minutes of ad breaks in a tag team championship match that we've only gotten 8 minutes in totality of. Fucking awful. We come back from the break. Rhea Ripley got the hot tag. Hit Kairi Sane with a razor's edge. Io tagged back in. Io followed with a flying dropkick for a near fall. Ripley gave Kairi a riptide as Sky set up for a moonsault, but Asuka shoved Ripley into Sky to knock her off the top rope. Then followed with a code breaker on Rhea Ripley. Asuka tagged in and gave Rhea a German suplex. Asuka and Kairi double-teamed Rhea until Io made the save and dumped Kairi from the ring. Io tagged in, hit Asuka with a running meteor, which she calls the bullet train. Right into the corner, Ripley tagged back in, hit Asuka with a riptide. Io followed with a moonsault. Io then wiped Kairi out with a dive, and Rhea Ripley, as the legal woman, covered Asuka for the 1, 2, 3. New champions. Did anything happen at the end of the match? No. Did we set up for next week and maybe get one of the other 6 teams out there to interject here? No. No, they did the title change. They wanted to start the new year off with a fresh coat of paint and right into the next segment. The match that we got, that we actually saw, wasn't bad. But when you take 6 minutes of ad breaks in a 16-minute match, and I'm left with a standard 10-minute television match instead of a 16-minute match, not even. Why do we need 6 minutes of ad breaks in a 16-minute match? When you're greedy, you're greedy. What do Rhea and Io do now? Well, on the horizon, we got Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who want their tag team titles back. On the horizon, we got Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who beat the Kabuki Warriors before tonight. They beat them as champions, clean. So I'm assuming they are going to be owed a tag team championship match at some point. Then you got Liv and Roxanne, and then you got Lyra and Bayley. If I was to take a stab in the dark here, I think Liv and Roxanne are probably going to end up feuding over the tag team championships, because with Becky Lynch winning back the Intercontinental Championship, it just doesn't seem that Liv Morgan or Roxanne Perez are going to be vying for the Intercontinental Championship. I think we'll be seeing Liv and Rhea in the ring once again. The only thing that makes sense. I know we got Charlotte and Alexa, and we got Nia and Lash Legend. None of those matches intrigue me. None of those matches elicit excitement. I think Rhea and Io playing a part in Liv and Roxanne while they deteriorate from within the Judgment Day. I think that's the way to go. Additionally, I don't really know what the big push is for the women's tag team division. It legitimately happened a month and a half ago, out of nowhere. This was right around we got Survivor Series, War Games, and then as soon as War Games was over, we got all the women's tag teams just kind of, they put so much fuel on that fire. The tag team division has largely been ineffective and dead for the past 6 years, 7 years now. And the more you focus on the women's tag team division, you got Rhea and Io, you got Asuka and Kairi, you got Charlotte and Alexa, Bayley and Lyra. What do all of these women have in common? They're all singles wrestlers. Liv and Roxanne, these are all singles wrestlers. You have 10 women on your Monday Night Raw roster. 2 belong to SmackDown. Charlotte and Alexa. Nia and Lash also belong on SmackDown. 4 of them belong on Friday night. You got 10 women who are in a tag team, who are singles wrestlers. Don't you think that actively takes away from what we should be seeing with the women's championship and the women's Intercontinental Championship? I mean, it just makes common sense that you add so much emphasis on one, it's going to subtract from the other. This is why Stephanie Vaquer is left with Raquel Rodriguez and fucking Nikki Bella. She doesn't have the great talent to work with. This is why Becky Lynch is left with Maxxine Dupri and Ivy Nile. I don't really get it. While the others are just hanging around waiting for the tag team championship, what is stopping them from going elsewhere? Why is everyone just waiting around for Rhea and Io or Asuka and Kairi to win this match? Can't you go and do something else? Before long, you will have seen every match in the women's tag team division. WWE will have exhausted all of their women's tag team matches, which we're at that point already, and we're not even at the Royal Rumble. So who exactly is next? Rhea and Io are now the tag team champions. What do we do with them from this point on? There's no point in them losing it so quickly, right? Unless Rhea wins the Royal Rumble. Stephanie's now out. We don't know how long she's going to be out. We don't know the severity of her ankle injury. Everybody was hoping that Rhea and Stephanie was maybe one of the WrestleMania matches, or maybe Liv and Stephanie. Seems like the women's division and what's going on, a lot of it seems up in the air now. But again, if I was a betting man, I think we go Rhea, Io, Liv, and Roxanne. And then maybe we start building some Judgment Day fallout between Roxanne and Liv Morgan. We got a video package for Bron Breakker and CM Punk. They tried to do what SmackDown did and build some anticipation for this main event. Friday night, we got WWE building their... What was it that they did a nice job of on Friday night? The ambulance match. They did a really good job of building that ambulance match in the main event between Damian Priest and Aleister Black. We got vignettes from both. We got a video package. We got some statistics thrown out there about how many ambulance matches there were in WWE history. First televised. SmackDown did a very good job of building importance and anticipation and hype for their main event. WWE tried this with Bron Breakker and CM Punk, but it didn't hit the same way as it did on Friday night. Adam Pearce congratulated Rhea and Io, who were backstage after they won the tag team championships. He was standing in front of a Demigorgon statue and was confused about what was behind him. He didn't know what a Demigorgon was. All of a sudden, Gunther walks up to Adam Pearce. This is the same man that supposedly beat John Cena and has all this types of heat. And I thought there was going to be a significant amount of heat, especially in New York City. And WWE is seemingly in the process of squandering all of the heat that Gunther has. And I'm finding it very difficult to legitimately give a shit about anything that Gunther is doing right now. I hope that changes with AJ Styles. So Gunther walks up to him. Adam Pearce says, I want you to mix in some respect with this gloating, being that you beat John Cena. It's not that difficult to shower a little bit of respect in there. Gunther laughed. He walked away. He walked through Gorilla. The camera followed him. His music hit. And he walks out to the ring. So Gunther stands in the ring. New York City did not shower Gunther with the level of heat. They did not shower him with the booze that he needs at this stage of the game. It was a very, and I mean very, lukewarm reaction for Gunther, who's seemingly trying to do Kazuchika Okada in AEW.
Hey. Shut up, bitches.
But he's not as funny. Every single time they send Gunther out there, he has now laughed, thrown it in everybody's face that he made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. Bro, I'm tired of hearing about John Cena. I'm tired of hearing about how you tapped out John Cena. It worked on night one. And then they proceeded to do it again the next week to a less impactful audience. And then they did it again. How many times are we going to run the same fucking promo? Don't you think people are really figuring this shit out? The more you do it, the less he's going to get. It's not, Gunther's not fucking breaking the fourth wall down here. He's just doing the basics of the basics. John Cena's a bitch, and he tapped out like a little bitch. Bro, that's going to get old very, very quickly. And seemingly they are in the process of dropping the ball on Gunther. Gunther starts laughing. AJ Styles interrupts before he could say John Cena tapped out like a little, and then AJ's music hit. Styles power walked to the ring. Gunther looks at him and told AJ that he is punching above his weight limit. He warned him that he's the greatest wrestler in WWE today because he's the man who made John Cena tap out like a little, you know what, AJ? Like a little bitch. Every time AJ tried to speak, Gunther cut him off. Once, twice, 3 times. What is little AJ going to do about it? AJ got in Gunther's face and with his leather glove, slapped the fucking holy shit out of Gunther. So hard his hair was fucked up. They meet face to face. They start sparring face to face, touching noses face to face. Styles slapped Gunther. They meet face to face. Gunther does nothing. You hear Styles audibly say, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Nothing. Gunther was fuming. He was very angry. He shoved the mic into Gunther's chest. He dropped it, and then he left. Now, I didn't know when we were getting this match. I thought they'd save this for a Royal Rumble clash in Saudi Arabia. I figured we get a string of matches between these two guys. So we're getting this match number 1 next week because there was a segment that followed. Gunther apparently approached Adam Pearce and demanded a match with Styles. Styles then showed up because he followed Gunther right through the back. And he said, typical, you go to the boss to complain. Gunther says he wants Styles next week. Styles said he'd take his head off. Adam Pearce then made it official. So we're getting Gunther in Germany, which should be hot. Gunther and Styles in Germany should be fucking hot. Next week on Raw. 2 p.m. Eastern start time. I don't know how they're going to play this Gunther and Styles feud out. I thought that we'd wait on it and maybe get a couple of promos. They're going right into it. They're jumping fucking into the deep end of the pool here. Now, if it's one and done, I don't know how we go about it. Because Styles, in a lot of people's opinion, Styles and Gunther could be the WrestleMania match in Las Vegas. And that'll be the end for AJ Styles, who apparently is retiring this year, but we don't know when. Now, there was a report that his contract is up before WrestleMania. We don't know how far that contract goes deep into 2026. We don't know if AJ's contract is going to come up before WrestleMania, and then maybe he works a handshake deal or a short-term contract to get through WrestleMania. If Gunther is the final opponent for AJ Styles, and we are going to play off the narrative of Gunther retiring everybody's favorite pro wrestler, I am not having Styles mention a fucking thing about retiring from this point on. I know he's mentioned it. Whether it was on TV or on Twitter, I don't remember. He may have mentioned it once. I am not mentioning AJ Styles retiring at all again until the day of his final match, if this is indeed his final year. The reason why I don't do that is because if Gunther is his final opponent, I want Gunther to beat AJ next week in Germany. I don't know when we get the second match, but when we get the second match, Gunther beats AJ Styles again. And then the third match would take place at WrestleMania. And the story is very simple. AJ has already said publicly that he wants to retire because he feels like he can't hang anymore. And he doesn't want to get to an age where he seemingly is going to go out there and embarrass himself. I don't know why AJ thinks so lowly of himself, because if you put AJ Styles at his age in the ring today, he can hang with anybody. Half his age. The story should be AJ so desperately looking to give Gunther the lesson he deserves about respect. But he loses and loses. And everything that he has going on with Gunther, he can't best Gunther. And then when it comes down to it, the final match, if I can't beat you, I'm putting my career on the line. I know I could beat you. And if I don't beat you, I'm finished. And when Gunther beats AJ Styles needs to retire and walk away. The thing is, it should be a substantial story. AJ Styles' career deserves a substantial story. I'm not saying that AJ Styles needs a 12-month fucking retirement run, because we all know how that went last year. But the least that they can do is, if this is it for AJ Styles, give him a solid story to tell. WWE had the luxury of telling Undertaker and Shawn Michaels over a period of 3 years. WWE is very fortunate that they had two transcending characters in The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels who have had history before they even embarked on their two back-to-back WrestleMania matches. They had that 2-year stretch in the Royal Rumble where they drew number 1 and 2 after a year where they were the final two, which in my opinion is one of the greatest Royal Rumble endings of all time. It may be the greatest Royal Rumble ending of all time. WWE had the luxury of telling that story out, playing that story out over many years. That saga over many years. I'm not saying that WWE is going to live up to that with Gunther and Styles, but they have, if Styles is retiring at WrestleMania, they have 3 or 4 months to tell that story. That's more than enough time to give us some substantial story. I don't know why we can't do something that special and that cool and that story-driven with AJ. I hope that's the case. But we're getting this match next week, which is a WrestleMania match, legitimately, on Monday night next week in Germany. And it should be a hot crowd. Much better than they were in New York tonight. Maxxine Dupri, Becky Lynch, Intercontinental Championship match. I think after this, I am done with Maxxine Dupri and Becky Lynch. There's nothing else that they could do here. Becky Lynch wore gear inspired by her character in the upcoming Star Trek series that she's a part of. Becky Lynch tried yanking Maxxine, who just got married over this past weekend. Congratulations to her. She did look a little off tonight. I wonder if she was still reeling from the festivities over the weekend. Becky tried yanking Maxxine off the apron, but Maxxine countered by doing a silly-looking cartwheel, which ended up being fucking useless. Maxxine hit a boot. She took control. Becky Lynch took control during a commercial break by yanking Maxxine off the middle rope. They come back from the break, and there was a Y2J chant in the crowd. You can tell that the crowd is looking for any sort of excitement through the first hour of this show, which they got none of. Maxxine fired up, ankle lock applied. Becky Lynch got to a rope to break the ankle lock. They traded some counters until Becky Lynch hit a middle rope superplex into a DDT for a 2. Becky hit a suplex proper. Becky is now looking at Maxxine, trying to gain the advantage. She came back with one of her own and a flying crossbody off the top rope for a 2 count. Becky Lynch set up for a powerbomb out of the corner. Maxxine slipped out, applied an ankle lock. This looked awful. It's almost as if she tried to memorize what she needed to do next. It was like she was swimming in slow motion. Becky tried flipping out of it. Dupri held on while lying on the mat. Dupri's back was on the mat, her shoulders pinned. Becky Lynch leaned backwards, grabbed the bottom rope, and Maxxine suffers a loss. Becky Lynch, for the 1, 2, 3, becomes a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. You know, they struck lightning in a bottle with Maxxine Dupri months ago when we got that second match between the two. Every single match that we got from that great one, because I even came on here the night that it happened. I forgot what month. October, November. I even came on here and said Maxxine Dupri is getting visibly better in the ring. She is getting a lot better in the ring. And you could see the growth. I don't know what happened tonight, but every single match from that one where everybody was solely in her corner, cheering her on, praising her for the job well done, praising Becky for leading someone who was as green as Maxxine to a great match that the crowd was incredibly into. Every single match from that one has gotten worse and worse and worse, with this one being the worst of their entire series. This was bad. Nothing redeeming about this. This is One of those matches that has zero replayability. No one will ever go back and rewatch this. Crowd was dead. Maxxine looked awful. Becky needed to struggle through this just to get to the ending. And Maxxine can now hang her hat on a couple of weeks as Intercontinental Champion. Said it from day one. Maxxine was not long for this world as Intercontinental Champion. There was no way WWE was going into WrestleMania season with Becky Lynch not the Intercontinental Champion. The title was suffering already on Maxxine. What did she do with the title? She made it worse. Becky put all that effort, all that work into it. For them to put it on Maxxine, to give her a token victory, to maybe make a new star, which you got to commend Becky for. But if you want to sit there and call her Becky Hogan or whatever, you're wrong. The title needed to be on Becky again because the title wasn't doing anything for Maxxine, and Maxxine certainly wasn't doing anything for the Intercontinental title. Now, who she goes into WrestleMania against, I don't know. I don't. It's got to be a babyface. Maybe we get a call-up from NXT and they are the recipient of a Becky Lynch WrestleMania match. Maybe it's Sol Ruca. Maybe. Becky Lynch is a two-time Intercontinental Champion. Javon Evans. He signs with Monday Night Raw. This is a great signing. Adam Pearce entered, showed a video of Javon Evans, who joined Pearce on stage to sign his contract. Pearce officially signed Evans to Raw, and the fans cheered. I don't know why this needed to be in the commercial. Why couldn't this be done on the live feed? Why was this solely saved for social media? You want to think more about Javon Evans, then put him on the actual program. He's good enough to wrestle Mayo or Americano. Number 7 on the fucking deli menu. Side of pickles and coleslaw, please. But he's not good to be in Brooklyn on TV signing his Monday Night Raw contract. A contract that was housed in a folder with the old Raw logo on it. I guess the creative coordinators in WWE are just as bad as Will Washington is. Usos. Jimmy and Jey Uso entered. They yeeted. Jimmy had them cut Jay's music. They stood there like fucking two clueless idiots who then did the, let's play it back. And then we got the fans yeeting. And then they cut their promo. The Usos then shouted out AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. That was last week and last year. 2026 was the year of the Usos. This was a warning shot to every tag team in the game. Standing in front of you was the best tag team in the game. They'd be waiting right here for anyone who wanted to run up on them. You know, I would actually take them up on that, but as I look at the Raw Tag Team division, I don't really see any other teams that are worth my time or the Usos' time. The New Day, the Creeds, the Viking Raiders, the Judgment Day, who are not really around anymore, being that JD McDonough is out, Dominic is out, Finn Balor's all alone. He can't be a tag team all by himself. Not like anybody wants to see that. What exactly are we doing with the Usos as tag team champions? This was the best that we got. We got Jay and Jimmy yeeting, but we can't get Javon Evans on actual television to sign his new Monday Night Raw contract as an upcoming NXT superstar. Now, for as long as we can do this twice, and you spend how much to do this? This is a message to Paul Levesque, the Lucha Brothers, and the Usos, as I mentioned on TNT Tuesday, is right there. It's right there, bro. If not the Lucha Brothers, the Hardys. You want something that's going to get people talking? How about the greatest tag team in WWE history versus arguably the greatest tag team of the modern generation? Sorry, FTR. The Hardys. Being that they're in a partnership with TNA, WWE is, I don't see why that can't be a possibility. But the Lucha Brothers are right there. Yet they got Penta teaming with everybody, every other luchador, but his fucking brother Rey Fenix. Make it make sense. There's nothing for the Usos to do on Raw. They're really going to have to get their fucking creative in order if they're going to get anybody to care about the Usos and a 9th tag team title run. Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie limped her way to the ring. And she's in a walking boot. Jackie Rudman is interviewing Stephanie. Cole said Vaquer suffered an ankle injury during last week's title defense against Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez. Stephanie spoke about her special year winning 4 titles, including the world title. She got emotional as she talked about her accomplishments and thanked everyone for their support. I legitimately thought she was going to vacate the championship here. She spoke in Spanish for most of this promo. She spoke about her title defense last week over Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez. She pointed to her walking boot and said this injury would not stop her. She posed with the belt and then was attacked by Raquel Rodriguez from behind. Rodriguez repeatedly smashed Stephanie's foot against the mat in the walking boot. She picks her up, hits a Tejana bomb. She then grabbed the chair and wanted to Pillmanize Stephanie's ankle, but Adam Pearce and other officials ran out just in time to stop it. Pearce took the chair away from her and threw it to the ground on the outside. Fans booed and Rodriguez smiled, walking to the back as the damage was already done. Officials were helping Stephanie backstage during the break. 2 medical staff members remained with Vaquer, holding her up, assisting her while she walked and limped away. Rodriguez, again in the back, charged at Stephanie and attacked her again. Pearce, who left Vaquer for some reason, ran back to Stephanie and Raquel in the back, screamed at Rodriguez, threatening to fine her of every dollar she has and to get out of my building. So that makes Dominic Mysterio as the Intercontinental Champion and Stephanie Vaquer as the Women's World Champion out with injury with no timetable for their return. Now, I didn't really think much of it. I didn't think Stephanie was that injured. Apparently, it was something that was a lot worse than we had realized coming out of last week's show. Hopefully, this isn't serious. I'm sure there'll be some news updates on this. We'll probably talk about this on TNT tomorrow. I don't know if it's as serious as people are making it out to be. If it was serious enough, I'm assuming WWE would have taken the belt off of her. They did not. Now, they still could do that, but they didn't do it tonight. So I'm assuming the diagnosis isn't as serious, just like Dominic isn't as serious. He'll be back in 4 weeks or so. He'll be ready for the Rumble. Maybe it's something along those lines where Stephanie will be ready for the Royal Rumble. She was out there walking on her own, so it's not like she's in crutches or anything. If you guys remember, Jacob Fatu was in a walking boot, and everybody thought it was the end of the fucking world for him, and he came back within a couple of weeks. So I don't think this is much of a news piece. Hopefully it's not that serious, and she'll be back in time for the Royal Rumble. Penta. He's backstage with Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee were talking about what happened last week. Rey gave him words of encouragement. He wants to be champion again, does Dragon Lee. Penta approached Rey and said he was happy to come back early to help him against the Vision. I mean, I guess they didn't speak on the phone before last week. Rey thanked him for having his back. Rey said Penta understood the tradition, honor, and respect of Lucha Libre. Everything the Vision wanted to destroy. Penta told Rey he would always be there for him. I wonder if they're maybe teasing Penta turning on Rey. You think that's a possibility? Because I'm tired of thinking about maybe Phoenix and Penta getting back together. It's just a lost cause. WWE's not going to do it. They got this guy teaming with every other luchador on the fucking face of the earth except his brother Ray Phoenix. And we were supposed to get it in AAA, not even WWE. We were going to get it in AAA, but Penta was out with a shoulder injury. I wonder if Penta teams with Ray, ends up turning on Ray, and we get Penta versus Ray at WrestleMania. Lyra Valkyria with Bayley in her corner against Liv Morgan. She's out there with Roxanne Perez. This went 8 minutes. There was a commercial break in between here, so being that it went 8 minutes, we got 3 minutes of commercial, so basically 5 minutes for Liv Morgan's in-ring return. This went through a commercial break. The crowd was very, very quiet. We got another Y2J chant in this match, which Liv Morgan acknowledged by giving everybody the DX crotch chop. Crowd actually woke up about maybe a minute and a half till the end of the match. Lyra set up for Nightwing. Morgan countered into what looked to be a code breaker. Asuka, by the way, was in the Walls of Jericho in the opening match. EO did the Walls of Jericho. Adam Pearce mentioned something about the walls breaking. Someone's going to break the walls down on Monday night. Posted a clip on Twitter yesterday. Like I said, EO did the code or the Lion's Tamer. Liv Morgan here is doing a version of the code breaker. Corey Graves mentioned something about the learning tree in the main event between Bron Breakker and CM Punk. That Bron Breakker's been under the learning tree of Paul Heyman. We got 4 Jericho subtle teases on tonight's show, yet no Chris Jericho. So Liv delivered what looked to be a code breaker. Lyra took the move the best she could. She landed right on her head. And Morgan, at this point, distracted the referee. So Roxanne dropped the rope on Lyra. So Bayley went after Perez because she's out there in Lyra's corner. Referee stopped her, so Perez used that distraction to chuck Bayley into the timekeeper's area. Bayley, all of a sudden, quote-unquote, Gene Snitsky'd herself because she snapped, grabbed the chair, chased Perez through the ring and into the back. Lyra was not paying attention to her opponent here, Liv, because she's a dumbass. So Morgan flew in, hit Oblivion on a very clueless and dumbfounded Lyra for the 1, 2, 3. Lyra has not won a match since October 2025. And by the looks of it and how stupid she looked like she did not deserve to win this one tonight. Gee, I wonder why the crowd was so silent. Maybe Lyra is a loser? And WWE has done nothing with Lyra? Or Bayley, for that matter? Jackie Redmond interviewed CM Punk. She said, some thought Breakker could win the title tonight with one spear. Punk said everyone had an opinion. They certainly do. They would rather talk about him because if they talked about themselves, nobody would pay attention. I wonder if that was the subtle dig at Kevin Nash, who went at CM Punk for not taking his shirt off. Only for then CM Punk to troll Kevin Nash by wearing a shirt on top of a shirt at a WWE live holiday event over the last weekend. Breakker could claim Spear 1, 2, 3 if he wanted, but if Punk was the underdog, you were underestimating him, and that meant a GTS and a nap. It could happen to anybody, but tonight, it's happening to Bron. CM Punk standing up and delivering a babyface promo and a promise that he's going to put Bron Breakker to sleep. As if you didn't know who was winning the match. Byron Saxton interviewed Logan Paul and Austin Theory during the commercial break. Logan got a ton of heat. Austin Theory just stood out there like a fucking fourth wheel. Typical. CM Punk, Bron Breakker, main events for tonight's dismal and awful things Monday Night Raw. Bron Breakker came out looking very intense as always as Bron Breakker. CM Punk came out. He wore a very Rick Steiner Brothers-esque inspired varsity club jacket with CM on the front and then Punk on the back. He also wore Michigan-inspired colors for his ring attire. CM Punk, the Master Troll. This was his first title defense since winning the title back on November 1st. He wrestled Jey Uso there. Something I'd like to forget because that match was awful. Very slow to start here. They wrestled back and forth. We go to an early commercial break. Bron ran the ropes, took out Punk with a clothesline. Bron's held control until Punk tried a desperation GTS. Bron countered into a back suplex. He remained in control, did Breakker, until Punk again tried a GTS. Bron countered that into a gutbuster. So here is the crafty veteran, CM Punk, going to the well twice for a GTS and not being able to hit it. I guess Bron Breakker had that one, as they say, well scouted. Punk now on the outside of the ring. Bron saw an opportunity to hit a running spear, but Punk cut him off with a clothesline. And we go into a commercial break. Following that clothesline off the barricade and a flying crossbody, he throws him into the ring for a 2. Does Punk. Punk hits a running knee lift. Tried for another. Bron drove him into the middle turnbuckle. Hits a standing moonsault for a 2. Bron went for Frankensteiner. Punk did not come down for it, and Bron almost fell on his head. I'm assuming everybody's going to start now attacking William Regal, asking, where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? It's not the same, sickos. I promise you, it's not the same. This looked bad. I don't know what had happened here. It looked like there was some miscommunication between Bron Breakker and CM Punk. It looked like Breakker did not execute the actual Frankensteiner correctly. It looked ridiculously awful. So, while that happened, it looked like Punk didn't go and follow through with the rest of the move because he was afraid it would look fucking terrible. So he opted for a reset. But Breakker, upon missing the move and executing it poorly, almost fucking killed himself. And the fall looked terrible for Bron Breakker. So Punk, to sell it, Breakker laid on the mat, and Punk pretended like he held on to the top rope, and that Breakker just couldn't execute the Frankensteiner because CM Punk held on to the top rope. This was the one and only botch of the match, but this one was pretty noticeable, and it looked fucking terrible. So they did not show the replay. Instead, they went to a replay of Bron doing a standing moonsault to show his athleticism, because why would they show the obviously terrible botch? Punk did know well enough to follow up the flying elbow drop on Bron Breakker as he just laid there after the botch. Punk went back up top, and Steiner, or Bron Breakker rather, successfully hit the Frankensteiner after the second attempt. So they went right back to the spot, and they nailed the spot. Bron got him up in a press slam. Punk countered into a DDT. Punk hit a lifting knee, clothesline, big flying elbow drop. He then called for the GTS, so now it was time for a myriad of interference. Paul Heyman jumped on the apron. He starts yelling at CM Punk. Punk chased him off. Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed all ran out, leapt on the apron. Punk chased them all off, right in front of the referee. Bron shoved Punk into the referee, who took the weakest of bumps and forced his fall to the outside. He fell outside the ring, and he was knocked out for about 30 seconds. So Theory enters the ring almost immediately. He hits Punk with a curb stomp, and then all of a sudden Bronson Reed rolls the referee back in, and Bron made the cover and only gets a 2 count. At this point, Penta, Ray, and Dragon Lee, all of the luchadors. Now, Ray has been helping CM Punk in recent weeks. Ray just got helped out by Penta, and now Ray and Dragon Lee apparently are buddies, who are ex-LWO members. Do you remember that? I don't. Don't know where that went. That got dropped like the fucking dead weight it was. They all appeared from the crowd and attacked the Vision and chased them all away from the ringside area. That left Bron Breakker and CM Punk once again alone. Bron went for a spear. Punk dodged it. Bron went shoulder first into the post. Punk followed with a GTS. Looked like the finish. Felt like the finish. Bron kicked out. This is where things actually started to feel like Monday Night Raw. This last 5 minutes legitimately felt like Monday night. I don't know what the fuck the rest of the show this was. Just awful. Up to this point, it was just a snooze fest. Legitimately. So, Punk followed with a pile driver, which looked awful. They allowed Punk to do a pile driver, and then in mid-pile driver, it looked like Punk froze and got scared to deliver the actual pile driver. It was more of a belly driver. Instead of Bron Breakker landing on the back of his head as Punk sits down for the pile driver, it almost like he drove Bron Breakker into his stomach in midsection. Michael Cole then had to do the typical commentary trope of, oh, he didn't get all of it. When you hear someone do that on commentary, you know that there was a botch and someone fucked up. I've been guilty of doing that too. Oh, they didn't get all of it. Punk went for another GTS. Bron Breakker counted into a Fujiwara armbar. Punk slipped into a cover. Bron reapplied the hold. Punk reversed that into an Anaconda Vice. Bron simply sat up to counter this hold. Bron followed with a gutbuster and a vicious clothesline for a 2 count only. Bron called for a GTS and went for the move. Punk countered into an STFU. So he's paying respect to John Cena. Bron got a rope break. Punk went to reapply the move, but became distracted by Heyman on the apron again. So Punk turns his back on Bron Breakker to punch Paul Heyman down as Heyman falls to the outside. Bron tried to spear Punk. Punk dodged it. Bron spilled out of the ring. Punk then went for a suicide dive, but upon diving through the ropes, Bron punched him in the face, and Punk went splat on the concrete. Punk then gathered himself. He got up. He's standing in front of the announce desk. Bron, with some offense, lays him on the announce desk. Bron goes to the top rope. He jumps off the top rope and jumps with a flying clothesline to CM Punk through the announce table, a la Logan Paul or Shane McMahon, cleared the distance from the top rope to the announce table in a great-looking spot that I'm sure WWE will be replaying for weeks to come. And I'm sure will amount to many, many views on social media. Excellent spot. That could have been it. I thought that was legitimately it. I thought Punk was done. He was dead weight. Bron Breakker rolled him back in the ring. He set up for the spear. Punk got his knee up to block the spear mid-spear. He picked up Breakker, GTS, and legitimately, that was enough to get the 1, 2, 3. CM Punk wins. CM Punk retains the championship. Bron Breakker sitting in the aisleway, very crestfallen as he fails to capture his first World Heavyweight Championship. Punk posed with the title, and the show went off the air. No Jericho, no LA Knight, no surprise, no return, nothing. We just got the end credits with Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting, and then Monday Night Raw going off the air. You know, I legitimately thought that this show was bad intentionally. I thought they were saving the big reveal at the end. I thought they were saving the big surprise for the end because they didn't want anything that happened previously on this show to overshadow a return or a debut for Jericho on this show after 7 years. The match went almost 27 minutes. For a main event television match, I thought it was good. Could we see better? Sure. And I'm sure we will. Bron Breakker is one of the front runners to win the Royal Rumble. We may get this match back at WrestleMania or Saturday night's main event or something along those lines. Who knows? Am I upset that Bron Breakker didn't win the championship? No. No, I'm not. In a perfect world, I would love for WWE to go youthful. I'd like to see them go with their young stars. I think everybody is in agreement that Bron Breakker is either A, ready or soon to be ready for a world championship. Maybe WWE simply wants to wait for a bigger stage like a PLE or WrestleMania to crown their future. I won't blame them if that's the direction they want to go. I just feel like with CM Punk holding the world championship, I don't know what else there is for CM Punk to do on a Monday night with the world championship. It's either Bron Breakker, LA Knight, possibly a returning Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins is out. All those plans went out the window. What is there for CM Punk going into WrestleMania season? That's a big question. Maybe it's LA Knight. Maybe it is LA Knight. You know, the reports that said that LA Knight's primed for a big push in 2026. Maybe that's it. Who am I kidding? LA Knight. Get the fuck out of here, LA Knight. I'd like to see it. The Vision took him out. Where the fuck is he? Holidays are over, bro. Maybe it's Roman. Maybe we get Punk, Roman, Cody, and Randy at WrestleMania. Maybe it's AJ Styles. I don't know. I have no idea. All in all, I thought this was a terrible, terrible show. I thought this show left a lot to be desired. I think this show fell flat on its face. I think WWE missed the mark big time and started the year off terrible on Monday night. And they did the same thing last year. Last year's Monday Night Raw on January 6th, which was the official debut on Netflix, that show was awful. They hyped that show up to Kingdom Come, and it under-delivered. And then the shows that followed were so much better. Maybe they're following the same formula. Let's get through this fucking terrible collaboration. We don't give a shit about this shit. And we'll just kind of reassess and re-engage next week. But for the next 3 or 4 weeks, WWE isn't even in the States. Everybody's going to be overseas. They're on the Royal Rumble European tour before they land in Saudi for the Rumble. This show did not do anything to get anybody excited about anything. And for the first time in God knows how long, I can honestly say SmackDown cleared Monday Night Raw. Hopefully they come out much, much better next week in Germany. Thank you guys for all of your support. If you did enjoy tonight's stream, I would very much appreciate you guys hit that thumbs up. We are 5 likes away from 1,000. Already starting 2026 off hot. We had a great SmackDown stream. That review did 32,000 views or so. We had 3,100 people in here tonight. So far, so good, man. Thank you guys very much. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out the content. We're going to rock and roll this week. We got Tuesday Night Titans tomorrow, Dynamite on Wednesday. I'm going to try and get news videos out for you guys this week. It's going to be a busy week. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We're going to hang out with you guys in just a second. 3 more days. 3 more sleeps. Until Alter Bridge and their new album on January 9th. Which I'm hearing incredible things about. Some reviews have said this is their best album to date. I will be the first person to tell you if it is or is not. You got a very, very difficult task to follow Fortress and to follow Blackbird. Gonna be tough. 3 sleeps. I can't wait. Let's get to these super chats. Michael Krause with the $2 super chat. Good Monday, JD OTS. How's everybody? Let's go. Yeah. Ali with a 2. Favorite theme of Y2J, Judas or break the walls? Break the walls. In fact, I'm going to go a step further and say Jericho. Jay Gordo with a 5. What's up, JD? Last Saturday was my birthday. Can you wish me a happy birthday? OTS for life. Gordo! Happy fucking birthday, brother. Michael Krause with a 2. Commercial after commercial. That's what it was tonight. Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. Honestly, I have no interest in Punk, Becky, Rollins, Roman, Usos, or Cody holding titles. I'm just ready for something different. I am over them. They're not going to be around forever. But you're talking about WWE's bread and butter. You're talking about WWE's stars. Those are some of their biggest names. Don't give me that shit, man. The Jericho theme was fucking great, okay? Wednesday may be the best day, Triple M. Wednesday may be the best day. I've been off for 2 weeks, man. I've been grinding Arc Raiders, man. I don't know. There's really no reason for me to even play Destiny. What am I going for? What am I searching for? I'll get back into it. I usually end up finishing the season pass. I got to get to level 110. I played so much of the activity, bro. I played so much of that new activity. It's just like I burnt myself out. Joshua Watts with a new membership. Thank you, Joshua. Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. Not gonna lie, Raquel Rodriguez has gotten my attention. She's awesome. I'm ready for the Rumble. It's hard to say who will win the Women's Rumble. Anyone can win. You know, just being that the Rumble's in Saudi this year, my interests in the Rumble is less than what it was in previous years. Captain Solo with 54 months. Is this Monday Night Raw or am I watching Glow? I can't be the only one who thinks these women matches are overkill. Bro, there was too many. Nobody wanted Evolution 3 tonight. Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. Product, advertisements, and too many commercials kills the show. It's hard to get into the matches. I didn't like the title changes either. Too predictable. Gold Standard with a $5 super chat. Best Raw of 26. Laughing my ass off. Haha. Matt, thank you again, brother, for the $100 super chat. Best in the world, Matt. Appreciate you, brother. Caden with a $1.99. No message. Polanco, 96 with a $1.99. No message. Kanan with a 5 months. Keep up the good work, JD. Boring gimmick show. Ended up watching other stuff on the phone with the wife more than Raw. Bro, I was catching up on Doc's stream of Arc Raiders tonight. Boring. Joseph Gonzalez with a $4.99. The whole theme of WWE over the last month has been setting up the future. So what does Triple H do tonight? Not put over the future. Make it make sense. Thomas Malloy, $4.99, was at the show tonight. Crowd was good, just dying for something to sink their teeth into. A lot wanted Bron to win the title. Cheers, JD. Thank you, brother. Hopefully you had a good time. I wouldn't be caught dead at a show like this. My guy Hurricane with a 65 months, 65 and going strong as usual. Raw sucks, but hey, tuning into OTS is never, ever wrong. Thank you, brother. Michelle with a 10. Raw was incredibly bad tonight. Too many women's segments, too many commercials, and an overbooked main event. Big Bird Levesque playing it safe, and it shows. And why have Bron lose clean? Big blunder there. Wouldn't call it a blunder. It's an easy fix that the Rumble could take care of. But what did they actually set up for? I mean, they chose an ending that legitimately just puts, for now, the finality on Bron Breakker and CM Punk. Breakker's going to have to win the Rumble now to get a rematch against CM Punk. And the thing is, if it happens, I don't know if people are going to be interested in getting a second match. Nick Williams with a 43 months. If it weren't for the main event, I'd be grinding Final Fantasy real quick. Because what was that? If Jericho didn't return tonight, then Royal Rumble, it is. Video frame Benji with a 2. What am I drinking? Orange Gatorade. My favorite Gatorade is the red one. I'd probably go for something with a little less sugar. Something a little bit more healthy. Not Gatorade. But as long as it's cold, video frame, I don't give a shit. As long as it's ice cold, okay? Hardy Punk Steel Cage. Raw is Wilson. Everybody loves Kit Wilson. Everybody loves Kit Wilson. I don't. Chris Near Fault Podcast with the $4.99. What am I drinking? Water, as in I'm on the 4 train on my way home from Barclays Center. Show was awful. Crowd was silent all night. Brother, how you're on the 4 train in the middle of January after a show like this, man. You couldn't pay me all the money in the world to want to do that. Butterscotch, 27 months. I compare Triple H tonight to the Baltimore Ravens kicker from last night. They are the same. I heard about that. Baltimore Jackson with a $1.99. The whole Sesame roster bid was epic. Good stuff. Thank you, brother. Easy W 334 with a $4.99. I'd rather see DSP Dark or DSP Darkside Phil begging than to see this boring Raw. Never watched 1 second of that guy's content. Hellfire Kai with a $5 super chat. Maxxine might be the new Sasha Banks because she can't keep her title for a month. Yeah, now let's do that 6 other times. Jorge with a $9.99. AJD is my birthday in a few minutes. Raw was awful tonight. OTS for life. Much love. Everybody in the chat wish Jorge a birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Hollywood Guy with a $5 super chat. So SmackDown is the A show and Raw is the shit show. Oh, yeah. And Jericho Royal Rumble appearance is not a secret anymore. You know, they say, Triple M, that I'm cringe. The naysayers say I'm cringe. Some people have actually compared me to DSP. I don't know what that means because I don't watch his content. Evil God Dark Iba with a $1.99. Wasn't Escobar supposed to show up on Raw? What is with that? I don't know where Santos is. Santos signed a WWE catering contract to remain in catering. I love riffs. There's one thing you need to know about me. I love guitar riffs. Cornell Bryant with a $4.99. Jericho returned during the commercial break. NM with a $5 super chat. Tonight was a great episode of Glow. Thank God for the main event. Can't believe they had Javon sign a contract during a commercial. Fucking commercials. Joseph Taylor with a $6 super chat. Can you imagine Tony Khan giving Mini Portable, Wheezy Blonde, and Malcolm Muscle jobs in AEW? That company would be out of business ASAP. I hope they have a great 2026. I don't give a shit. David Rice, my guy David Rice with a $20 super chat. What's up, brother? I really thought, brother, I have to mention this. I got your DM, bro, on Twitter. The DM system on Twitter is fucking atrocious. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I really thought that after the strong SmackDown we got, that we were going to get a good Raw as well. That was not the case. Too many women's matches and segments that don't go anywhere. Bro, the show legitimately went nowhere. It's almost like they used the show to set up for this show, and that this show was like the final, and then they'll start everything new next week. Mr. Grim Boogs with a new membership. Thank you, Mr. Grim. El Garave with a $4.99. Hey, JD, if Blake gets called up, I pray she goes to SmackDown. She can do wonders on Friday nights, especially would love to see her versus Julia. SmackDown would probably be best. Blake and Tiffany, Blake and Julia, Blake and Jordan. Walker Stubbs with a $4.99. Hey, JD, minus the ones who got called up recently, who else would you call up? Have a good rest of the night. Blake Monroe, Sol Ruka, JC Jane, and I would have said Jada Parker, but apparently she's gone missing. Lola Vice. Slade with a 50 month. Ethan Page as well. Slade 209. 50 months. Liv Morgan's entrance was the best part of this lackluster show. Bro, anytime Liv is on TV is grade A television. Baltimore Jackson with a $4.99. It seems that the women's tag team titles are being hot potatoed and great talents are suffering because there's no real teams. Everyone is thrown together. There is no balance. I said what I said in the beginning of the show. I am not a fan of the women's tag narrative. Too little, too late. Soundwave 80s with a $4.99. I think the reason they're not doing well with Raw since the start of last year is probably they don't care about getting kicked off Netflix. Whatever the reason is. I don't know. I don't know. NM with a 2 could really use a good 4 to 6 month tribal chief run. We don't need no more tribal chief run. Roman wrestled 7 matches last year. It'll be 5 this year. I love riffs, okay? I love the sounds of a guitar chugging, okay? That's all you need to know. I love me some good old classic thrash metal. One of these days, I will uncover my band's old music, and you will all be amazed at how good of a guitar player I was and how shit I am now. Major Emotions with a $1.99. I can say this, the most unpredictable Royal Rumble. Oh, yeah? Is that what we're saying? Is this is an unpredictable Royal Rumble? I don't know. I like an unpredictable Royal Rumble. The fact that they haven't said anything about the Royal Rumble, it's very concerning. Aslands with a $6 super chat. I don't know where this is coming from, but he leaves no message. But he's a channel member, and I appreciate him. Thank you very much. All right, guys, I'm getting out of here, man. I had enough of this. I want to jump on Arc Raiders and do nothing for the rest of the night. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And I hope you guys have a good night. Follow me on social media. At JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the content on the channel. There is plenty of it. And we will be live tomorrow night for episode 128 of Tuesday Night Titans with the one and only, the Solid Monster. Consider to hit that thumbs up. Thank you for the 1,000 likes tonight. Love it when we get the goal of 1,000 likes. That means it's a good night. Thank you for the super chat, love. Thank you for 2 great streams to start the year. Friday was great. Tonight was great. We're not letting up, man. Foot on the pedal, all gas, no brakes. Stealing one from Jacob Fatu. When the show is bad, you will know it's bad. When the show is good, you will know it is good. We don't stand for mediocrity. That's our vision. That's our plan this year. WrestleMess with a 199. Triple H is going to bring up Blake for a team with Tiffany. Bro, I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of tonight's show. Hit that subscribe button down below and follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. 128 TNT with the Solid Monster right here on OTS. I'll see you guys later.